My name is Julia Bennett. I'm 32, an event coordinator who specializes in endings that look like celebrations. Spreadsheets, timelines, contingency plans, those are my native languages. So when my boyfriend texted last night, I'll be staying at Lara's tonight, don't wait up. I read it not as confession but as confirmation. The schedule for our finale had finally arrived. I looked at the message blinking on the screen, breathed once, and typed back, thanks for letting me know. Polite, logged, legally admissible civility. Then I set down the phone, stretched my shoulders, and opened a fresh to-do list. There's always a to-do list. Packing his wardrobe took under an hour. Training in crisis management does wonders for efficiency. Shirts rolled tight, belts coiled like promises. I labeled every box for clarity: suits, gym clothes, unused, false alibis. The rhythmic tear of tape across cardboard felt almost therapeutic, like a metronome keeping time in newfound calm. By midnight, the hallway resembled a well-organized evacuation drill. I loaded the boxes into the back of my car, humming the event planner's anthem of all breakups, on schedule and under budget. At Lara's building, the security guard recognized me from past doubles dinners and didn't ask questions. I stacked his life neatly outside her apartment door, topped it with an envelope addressed delivery completed. A tiny bow would have felt petty, the lack of it was worse. By dawn, my voicemail was working double shifts. His first message arrived at 3:07 a.m., a cocktail of confusion and sobriety's demise. Jules, what the hell? My stuff's here, can we talk? No, we cannot. Efficiency hates rewrites. I saved the recording as proof of concept.mp3 and went back to sleep wrapped in the plush luxury of space reclaimed. Sunlight streaming through clean air is underrated. So is coffee brewed without emotional debris nearby. I sipped and scrolled, greeted by social feeds full of brunches, babies, and Lara's predictable quote post. Real connections can't be broken. I smiled, tapped report for irony, and closed the app. The phone buzzed again. Can you at least tell me why you did that? He wrote. I typed. Event completed successfully. Feedback window closed. Sent. Archived. Deleted. At work, my assistant Kara noticed my unusual serenity. You look rested, she said carefully. I audited chaos, I replied, adjusting the seating chart for a client's gala. Did it balance? Perfectly. 0 losses, equal gains. Planning a ballroom for 200 guests felt easy compared to managing one man's double life. I glanced at the timeline printed on my desk, the midnight load in, the dramatic lighting cue, and thought, I've choreographed harder exits than his. That evening, the last of his things, the electric toothbrush, a single sock, superstition itself, went into a trash bag labeled post-event cleanup. I dropped it in the building's recycling room, poetic enough for closure yet practical enough for sanitation. On the way back upstairs, I met our elderly neighbor, Mrs. Tran, who tilted her head sympathetically. You moving? Only emotionally, I said. She nodded as if that were a floor she'd visited herself. Later, borrowed peace settled across the apartment. I folded laundry, counted it mine by right of retention, and watched city lights glitter like applause far below. The open closet gleamed, empty, orderly, breathable. Freedom always photographs well in neutrals. I turned on soft music, poured a glass of wine, and opened my planner. In tidy script I wrote, greater than post-event summary, greater than objective, clarity, greater than outcome, delivered to correct address, greater than notes, 3 a.m. Voicemail confirms receipt. Underneath I added one last line, stylized like a tagline. He chose his venue. I merely handled logistics. Then I closed the planner, set it beside my wine, and let the apartment rest. The clock struck 11. Everything that needed moving had already been moved, even me. Friday rose clear and bright, unbothered sky, calm air, the perfect kind of morning for confirmation emails and closure. I brewed coffee, opened my phone, and listened once more to that 3 a.m. voicemail, his slurred confusion looping between remorse and panic. Jules, I think we need to talk. Where's my stuff? I deleted it after the third replay. A souvenir doesn't have to live forever. The boxes were gone from my car, my conscience lighter than the fuel tank. I texted Lara's building concierge a quick thank you for handling my delivery. He responded with the professionalism of saints. Package was left as instructed. That line could have been engraved on the relationship itself. Work came humming with the normal chaos of incoming deadlines and people asking me to fix things they'd mismanaged for weeks. Exactly my comfort zone. Kara brought me an espresso and whispered, "How was the shipment?" "Delivered intact," I said. Her grin broke wide. And reaction. I assume gratitude. He always wanted to live closer to his favorite coworker. Then, loud enough for optimism to hear, I clapped my hands and announced to no one in particular, "All right, team, today we plan beginnings, not repairs." At lunch, I met Arya in the lobby cafe. She pushed a muffin across the table. "You look saintly." "Terrifying, but saintly." "I discovered calorie-free vengeance," I said. "What's it taste like?" "Closure, toasted." We laughed until people turned to stare. Arya lowered her voice. "Do you ever miss him?" "Be honest." I stirred sugar into my coffee slowly. "Honestly, I miss my patience." She raised her cup. "To limited resources." We toasted like women revising their budgets for self-respect. Back at the office, the day blurred into productive monotony, emails, sign-offs, certainty. By evening, the last message I sent was a calendar confirmation to a client, delivery timeline on track. Irony practically applauded from my outbox. When the lights dimmed and employees fled toward the weekend, I lingered just long enough to reorder the meeting schedule. That tiny act of structure made everything, every beat of the last 24 hours, feel symmetrical again. Home greeted me with silence so clean it sparkled. The open closet gleamed like possibility under the soft lamp. I changed into comfortable clothes and poured a glass of Pinot, untouched territory since his departure. My phone buzzed once. A new number, predictable content. "You didn't have to humiliate me." Asterisk. I wrote back. "You did that yourself." I handled delivery. Sent. Blocked. Instant peace. Express service. The wine tasted honest. The chill from the glass felt identical to relief. Later, I opened my notebook for the nightly debrief. Every planner needs a summary. Greater than incident report number 2, follow-up. Greater than outcome. All parties appropriately relocated. Greater than damages. None. Emotional inventory complete. Greater than lessons learned. Always confirm destination before departure. Beneath the notes I added a one-sentence addendum. Sometimes revenge is simply good logistics executed on time. Asterisk. I closed the book, set it neatly beside the half-empty glass, and looked around at my renovated life, all clean lines and better lighting. For the first time in ages, the space didn't echo, it resonated. Saturday began with that rare, clean kind of quiet, the kind that feels earned, not accidental. No half-written apologies. Pinging my phone, no mental inventory of resentments to manage before breakfast. Sunlight crept over the new symmetry of my apartment, stopping right where his things used to clutter the floor. Proof of progress, served warm. I wrapped both hands around my mug and thought about how strange it was to drink coffee without pre-conflict digestion. The mug said best planner ever. For once, it wasn't sarcasm. Around 10, I took a walk through the market 2 blocks over. The florist recognized me. "Weren't you usually with?" she began, then caught herself. "Not anymore," I said, picking out tulips. "Turns out I travel lighter solo." She smiled. "Fresh start flowers, then." "Exactly. Low maintenance too." Carrying the bouquet home, I passed his building by accident of routine. The sight didn't sting, it just looked smaller in daylight, like certain delusions when you stop feeding them. Somewhere inside, maybe, he was busy explaining how his boxes materialized outside Lara's door. The thought didn't bother me, it barely qualified as weather. Back upstairs, I trimmed the tulips, watched clean water fill the vase, and turned on music. Billie Holiday, of course, melancholy repurposed into confidence. The cat from next door slipped in again, curling right where sunlight cooled on the rug. I counted that as moral confirmation. At noon, Arya texted a meme of a woman holding duct tape and a shipping label, me sealing emotional baggage. Asterisk. I replied with a photo of the tulips. Already shipped. Asterisk. She sent back, Queen of Fed Up Logistics. I accepted the title gladly. The afternoon unfolded like someone had ironed time itself. Email check, grocery list, a long shower that ended without racing heartbeat or rehearsed arguments. Maybe this is what freedom really is. Long stretches of nothing, but they're yours. I opened a fresh document on my laptop, half work, half therapy. At the top I typed, Event Debrief, Act 3. Problem detected. Betrayal disguised as professionalism. Solution executed. Swift relocation of assets. Result. Emotional ROI exceeding projections. I saved it under a new folder labeled Case Studies in Dignity. Evening arrived like closure wearing perfume. I cooked a proper dinner. Something spicy and assertive, the opposite of compromise, and ate slowly on the terrace while the city flickered alive below. Across the street, someone's window flicked blue with TV light. I raised my glass of wine in anonymous solidarity with every unseen woman who'd ever recited her worth. After dishes, I wandered the apartment, feeling the rhythm of it under my feet. Each room carried a different note of peace. Together they formed a harmony I hadn't realized was possible. Before bed, with the lamp set low, I opened my leather-bound planner, page 3 of my newfound life. At the top I wrote, clear and deliberate, he said not to wait up. I didn't. His 3 a.m. voicemail sang regret, but my silence stayed in tune with relief. Below it, smaller, post-delivery checklist complete. No returns expected. Asterisk. I closed the planner, blew out the candle, and listened to the new silence, a luxurious, steady sound, while the cat purred approval into the room's perfect balance.